Every language tells a story. Every word carries a journey. Today, we follow one of the most remarkable journeys in human history. A language once spoken by a small collection of tribes on the edge of Europe would eventually become the language of science, business, technology, aviation, entertainment, and the internet. Today, more than 1 billion people use English in some form. It connects continents, powers global communication, and influences nearly every corner of modern life. Yet its beginnings were surprisingly humble. This is the story of how English conquered the world. To understand English, we must travel far beyond England, far beyond Rome, far beyond recorded history itself. Our journey begins thousands of years ago on the vast Eurasian steppe, stretching across parts of modern Ukraine, southern Russia, and Kazakhstan. This immense grassland may seem disconnected from modern English, but many linguists believe it was home to the speakers of a language known as Proto-Indo-European. No recordings of this language exist. No books survive. No dictionaries were ever written. Yet through centuries of linguistic research, scholars have reconstructed many aspects of how it may have sounded. By comparing similarities between hundreds of modern languages, researchers discovered clues pointing to a common ancestor. Words related to family, nature, animals, and daily life often share surprising similarities across regions separated by thousands of miles. One branch of this growing language family would become especially important to our story: the Germanic branch. The ancestors of English speakers lived in Northern Europe, in regions that today include parts of Denmark, northern Germany, and the Netherlands. Over generations, their speech evolved into a language known as Proto-Germanic. This language would eventually give rise to English, German, Dutch, Frisian, and several Scandinavian languages. The next major chapter began on an island across the North Sea. For nearly 400 years, Britain had been part of the Roman Empire. Roman roads connected towns and cities. Trade linked Britain to continental Europe. Latin served as the language of administration and power. But by the early 5th century, Rome was collapsing. Faced with invasions and political instability, the empire withdrew its legions from Britain. By around 410 AD, Roman rule had effectively ended. Germanic peoples from across the North Sea began arriving in increasing numbers. Among these newcomers were 3 groups whose names would become deeply connected to English history: the Angles, the Saxons, and the Jutes. They came from regions in modern-day Denmark and northern Germany. Some arrived as mercenaries. Others came seeking land, wealth, and opportunity. Over time, temporary migrations became permanent settlements. Beginning in the 5th century, these Germanic settlers established communities throughout eastern and southern Britain. Their arrival transformed the cultural and linguistic landscape of the island. Of all these groups, the Angles would leave perhaps the greatest mark. Their name eventually became associated with the country itself. The land of the Angles became England. Their language became English. Across Britain, powerful Anglo-Saxon kingdoms emerged. Wessex, Mercia, Northumbria, East Anglia, Kent, Sussex, and Essex became centers of political power. Each kingdom developed its own customs, rulers, and local speech patterns. Despite regional differences, they shared a common Germanic heritage. Slowly, the foundations of England were being laid. By the 7th century, Old English had become dominant across much of what is now England. But the future of English was far from secure. Celtic languages still survived in Western Britain. Latin remained important within the church. Then another wave of seafarers appeared on the horizon. Their arrival would transform English forever. The Vikings came from Scandinavia, from territories that today include Norway, Denmark, and Sweden. They were not simply warriors. They were explorers, traders, shipbuilders, settlers, and navigators. Their ships carried them across enormous distances, from North America in the west to the rivers of Eastern Europe in the east. The first Viking raids shocked Anglo-Saxon England. Coastal monasteries and settlements were attacked. Communities were devastated. But the most significant impact of the Vikings would not come through raiding. It would come through settlement. By the 9th century, large numbers of Scandinavian settlers had established themselves throughout northern and eastern England. This territory became known as the Danelaw. Here, Old English speakers and Old Norse speakers lived side by side. They traded together, worked together, married each other, raised families together. And whenever people live together long enough, languages begin to mix. Unlike many historical invaders, the Vikings spoke a language surprisingly similar to Old English. Both languages descended from common Germanic ancestors. Many words sounded familiar. Communication was difficult, but not impossible. The two languages were linguistic cousins. As generations passed, English absorbed hundreds of Norse words. Many remain part of everyday speech. Sky, window, law, egg, knife, skin, take, give, want, wrong. These words entered English through contact with Viking settlers. They became so deeply embedded that most people never realized their Scandinavian origins. The Viking influence extended beyond vocabulary. Some of the most frequently used words in modern English came from Old Norse. They, them, their. These simple pronouns gradually replaced older Old English forms. Imagine that. Invaders arriving from across the sea managed to change some of the most basic building blocks of English grammar. The interaction between Old English and Old Norse also encouraged simplification. Old English once relied heavily on grammatical endings. Words changed depending on their role in a sentence. But when speakers of related languages communicated daily, simpler forms proved more practical. Over time, many complex endings disappeared. English became more flexible, more adaptable, and easier to learn. The Viking legacy remains visible even today. Across northern and eastern England, countless place names preserve Scandinavian roots. Towns ending in by often reveal ancient Viking settlements. Places such as Derby, Whitby, and Grimsby still carry traces of this distant past. Even the map remembers where the Vikings once lived. By the 11th century, English had already undergone profound transformation. Yet another linguistic earthquake was approaching. The year was 1066. Few dates in history have changed a language as dramatically as 1066. Across the English Channel, William, Duke of Normandy, prepared an invasion fleet. His victory at the Battle of Hastings would alter the course of English forever. Unlike the Vikings, the Normans did not speak a Germanic language. They spoke a form of Old French. After William's victory, England's ruling class changed almost overnight. Norman nobles replaced much of the Anglo-Saxon aristocracy. The king spoke French. The royal court spoke French. Many judges, officials, and landowners spoke French. For generations, England became a multilingual society. Latin remained the language of religion and scholarship. French dominated government and aristocratic life. English survived as the language of ordinary people. Farmers, merchants, craftsmen, and families continued speaking English in their daily lives. The result was one of the most important linguistic mergers in history. Thousands of French words entered English. Words connected to government, law, and authority flooded into the language. Court, judge, justice, parliament, government, crown. These words remain central to English today. The Norman influence extended into warfare and nobility as well. Prince, duke, baron, army, battle, soldier, castle, these terms became part of everyday vocabulary. English was becoming richer, more flexible, and more sophisticated. Perhaps the most famous example of Norman influence appears on our dinner plates. The farmers who raised animals generally spoke English. The nobles who ate them often spoke French. As a result, the animal remained a cow, but the meat became beef. A pig became pork. A calf became veal. A sheep became mutton. Nearly 1,000 years later, this linguistic divide still survives. Yet despite centuries of French influence, English refused to disappear. Instead, it adapted. It borrowed vocabulary while preserving its Germanic foundation. The result was Middle English, a language unlike anything that had existed before. English was no longer simply the language of the Anglo-Saxons. It had become a hybrid language, capable of absorbing influences from many different cultures. The next stage of English's journey began when Britain looked beyond its shores. During the Age of Exploration, English-speaking settlers established colonies in North America and other parts of the world. What began as small settlements eventually became vast English-speaking societies. Over the following centuries, the British Empire expanded across every inhabited continent. At its height, Britain controlled territories containing hundreds of millions of people. English became the language of administration, education, trade, and law throughout many parts of the world. Yet English did not remain unchanged. As it traveled across continents, it absorbed new influences. Local cultures reshaped pronunciation, vocabulary, and expression. American English, Australian English, Indian English, and countless other varieties emerged. English also borrowed words from around the globe. Terms like shampoo, bungalow, yoga, and barbecue became part of its growing vocabulary. The language was no longer simply English from England. It had become a global language, shaped by diverse cultures and peoples. The 20th century brought another major turning point. As the British Empire declined, the United States emerged as a global superpower. American economic influence, scientific leadership, and cultural exports accelerated the spread of English. Scientific journals increasingly published research in English. International conferences adopted English as a common language. Global business relied on English-speaking markets and institutions. Then came aviation, where safety demanded a shared language. Pilots and air traffic controllers around the world increasingly communicated in English. Hollywood films carried English into homes across the planet. Music, television, and later streaming platforms exposed billions to English-language entertainment. Today, English is used by roughly 1.5 billion people worldwide. Most are not native speakers. Instead, English serves as a shared language between individuals whose first languages may be completely different. A scientist in Germany, an entrepreneur in Brazil, an engineer in India, and a student in Kenya can all communicate through English. Few languages in history have achieved such extraordinary reach. But the story is not over. New forms of English continue to emerge around the world. At the same time, artificial intelligence and real-time translation technologies are transforming how humans communicate. For the first time, it is becoming possible to speak one language while being understood instantly in another. The future may be more multilingual than ever before. Yet regardless of what lies ahead, English has already accomplished something remarkable. From a handful of Germanic tribes living along the North Sea to a language connecting billions across the globe, its journey has been unlike any other. It survived invasions, absorbed foreign influences, crossed oceans, powered scientific discoveries, and adapted to every challenge it encountered. Perhaps that is the secret behind its success. English was never defined by purity. It grew stronger through change. It borrowed, evolved, and adapted whenever history demanded it. And in doing so, it became a reflection of humanity itself. From ancient grasslands to digital networks, from Viking settlements to artificial intelligence, the history of English is ultimately the history of connection. A story still being written with every conversation, every discovery, and every new voice that joins it. And as long as people continue to communicate, learn, and share ideas, that story will continue.